Thank you for tuning in to MacroView Television and welcome to a brand new edition of Taiwan Outlook, the program that presents the people and their stories on Taiwan. I'm your host, Ray Guo. Have you heard of the Global Youth of the Year Award? What is it and how are the winners selected? We're going to find out on today's program because we're delighted to have two participants from the competition to share with us their experiences. First, to my immediate left is Miss Joanna Lu, who's currently a teacher at the Dayuan International Senior High School. Welcome to our program, Joanna.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joanna.
Yes. And next to Joanna is Miss Memory Banda, who's a recipient of the Global Youth of the Year Award in the year of 2015, originally from the country of Malawi. Thank you and welcome to our program.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Yes. And first of all, I'm going to ask the two of you a simple question. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Maybe I can start off with Memory. You're originally from Malawi, and you're one of the recipients of the Global Youth of the Year Award in 2015. Other than that, tell us a little more about yourself.
I am 18 years old.
Okay.
And I grew up in the southern part of Malawi. And wow.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I just entered into college.
Okay.
So
good.
I'm studying art, humanities, specializing in performing art, drama, and English. So I think I love the field of communication.
Yeah, I would suppose this is your first trip to Taiwan.
It is.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And how about Joanna? I heard that you, after college, and done some, volunteer work. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Joanna.
Yes.
And I am a teacher in Dayuan International High School now. And I'm also one of the judges of the International Malala Award.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually, I have been to Switzerland as volunteers after I graduated from high school.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good. Well, we'll talk a little more about that
Sure.
later in the program. Joanna, I'm going to ask you, a lot of people haven't really heard of the Global Youth of the Year Award.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the award is and why did the National Zhanghua Senior High School Library decided to set up the award and your role as a judge? How are the winners selected each year? Please.
Yes. Actually, the Youth of the Year Award also goes by the name International Malala Award.
Okay.
Because of this year is the 10th anniversary of the founding of the International Youth of Leadership Conference.
Okay.
Yes. And
the conference was held in Taipei, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This conference is held by Zhanghua Senior High School, Library of Zhanghua Senior High School.
Okay.
And to encourage, on the purpose to open a new page of the conference, so we decided to set up the Youth of the Year to 2015.
Okay.
And to inspire and to encourage more young people to take action, just as what Malala has done for the past several years. So these awards also goes the name as International Malala Awards.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And what do you think, in your perspective as a judge?
Yeah.
What do you think the award has done for Zhanghua and also for Taiwan?
The jury committee is founded by the chairman of Harvard Africa Taiwan, Michael Chen, and the chairman of Cultural and Educational Foundation, Zhou Fuyi, and the doctor of Kyoto University in Japan, Zhang Denkai, and me as well.
All right.
And we found, as we know, international is very important to Taiwan, especially for high school students.
Yes.
Because high school students, the teens, high school students, is the future of the country, of the world, of the next generation. So if they take action to make change, it will really change our future and our countries. So that is our purpose, that we want to encourage people in Changhua and also people in Taiwan, especially high school students in Taiwan, to take action, just as those 5 recipients, those 5 winners. Right.
Okay. And let me ask you this, Memory. You live in Malawi, and how did you learn about this Global Youth of the Year Award? And why did you decide that you want to compete in the award? Please.
First, I did not really know about anything about the Global Youth Award, not until I saw it on my Twitter page.
Okay.
And then later on, I decided to venture more and see if I am capable of doing that. And Mr. Louis Lu, who is the chairperson of this event, wrote again on my Facebook, on my Twitter page.
Okay.
And then I was like, wow, I could write an essay concerning that. So I had to write a very long essay explaining what I have done for the past years since I was 13 years old, because I started doing this at a very young age. So I wrote everything that I have so far done in my country and not just in my country, and what I've done in Africa, and all that compiled together. And after some days, I received a confirmation later that I've been picked as one of the award winners. So, yeah. So
we also want to congratulate you, of course, Memory. But we understand that you are very much an advocate to stop child marriages in your country. And we're going to talk a little more about that. But, can you share with us your story? Why did you get involved with this particular cause? Were there, any of your friends or family members who were the victims of this, child marriages that are, apparently very popular in Malawi? Can you share with us your story?
Thank you for that. For my involvement and for the passion in me to grow so much, it all started when I began to realize that the things that were going on in my community were not the right things. I took everything that was happening as normal things, not until my little sister, when she was 11 years old, she was impregnated. And at that moment, that was when I opened my eyes and see the traditions, practice that happen in my community. Because when you are an adolescent in my community, as a girl child, you get so scared because you don't really know what is going to happen to you. No. You just hear rumors that, oh, so we have to go to the initiation camps, and your parents, your aunties, the surrounding people, and you see that your age mates are going, and they make the initiation camps, when they talk about it, they make it so attractive that every girl would want to go. And when you come out of the camps, there is this bigger celebration. The community is receiving you as the part of the community. So as a young girl, when you see that happening and the celebration and all that, you get so curious. And when your parents are telling you to go to the initiation camp, the first thing, oh, I have to go with my peers, without knowing what will happen at the camp. And when you go there, that's when you see the reality of the whole things that happen to you at the camp. Personally, you have to go through pain. You have to go through the most devastating part of the initiation camps is where you have to be taught how to sexually please a man, because the tradition for a girl child in my community, it only prepares a girl child for marriage. When you're 12 years old, you're 13 years old, the only thing that your parent, the surrounding women would tell you is, you're now a grown-up woman. Just because you have reached at the puberty stage, they'll tell you you're now a woman, you're old enough to have as many children as your husband wants. So at the camp, they actually just teach you how to please the man, and not just, it's not about you, it's not about your body, it's like, it's the teaching you that a man owns you. When you get out of here, you can get married, and the man will own you, and you have no right over your body. So when my sister went through the camp, and when she came back, she was so much devastated and all that. I did notice it then. I realized now that she went through so much trauma. That is why she was a silent girl when she came back out of the camp. Some few weeks later, she was found pregnant. So in my tradition, once you're pregnant, you are automatically sent to the man who has impregnated you, and you drop out of school. And that happened to my sister. And when I saw that, I thought about so many girls just like my sister, and I thought about so many girls who are just my peers who by then were married. And that was when I took a step forward and started the whole campaign of stopping child marriage in my community.
And we have about 1 minute left in the program. What if, you said no to the initiation process?
Yeah.
Your parents say, you should go. You say, no, I don't want to go. Will there be attribution against you?
The women in my community, they were all against me. And I thought it was a very big challenge for me because I was just a little girl.
Of course.
But then I think I was bold enough to say no. And with my mother's support afterward, I'm pretty sure with what happened to my sister, it also opened the eyes of my mother, and my mother was able to stand up for me. So, yeah.
But that was still very courageous memory of what you did.
Thank you.
Joanna, I'm going to ask you the first question in this part of the program, which is you're a judge of the competition. And what was the criteria used to select the winners? Please.
Okay. So we have a jury committee to decide which will be the final winners of the International Youth Award. And we received more than 100 applications. And those applicants, they are very young and they are very talented in different ground, different area. For those people for those applications, it must satisfy several requirements. For example, the age of those applicants must under the age of 18. And secondly, the most important of all, they must do something to not only change the world, but most important of all, they have to change their lives, change the thinking of the life in front of the life around them, just as memory change the way Malawi people think about. Yes. So for the applicant, they must satisfy those requirements.
Okay. And this year you have selected 5 people. Okay. Memory, of course, is one of them. Can you then share with us the stories about the other 4? Because they come from all parts of the world, including one from Taiwan. Can you share with us their stories?
Okay. So for this year, we have 5 recipients, 5 winners of this award. First one is Mazom Alamahan, the girl from Syria. She didn't come to Taiwan this time because of the problem of the visa, because she lives in refugee camp now. So it's hard for her to travel around the world. And we award her because she put much effort in advocates for girls' education in refugee camp. Yeah, she is called Malala of Syria by CNN. Yes, so that is what she has done. And the second one is Memory Banda, just the person who's a very beautiful girl sit beside me. So we will know her stories through our programs, right? Okay. And the third person is Ada from Iceland. Yeah, and Ada has many fans in Taiwan because of the movement Free the Nipples, and Ada is supported of the gender equality and also anti-sexualize of women and children. Yes, and the last person is the Taiwanese student, Albert Liao Chonglun. He is now studying in the Taichung First Senior High School. Yes, and we nominated him and we awarded him because that he raised the biggest student movement in Taiwan, high school student movement in Taiwan, anti-curriculum adjustment.
Good. That's very nice. And Memory, let's come back to you. You come from Malawi, and those of us living in Taiwan, we know very little about your beautiful country. Can you then tell us a little bit about your home country?
Malawi is in the center of Africa.
Yes.
And we have a very beautiful culture, and our culture is very diverse. And I do appreciate part of it.
Okay.
Of course, there is some part of cultures which are so not good, which I just explained earlier, but there is a positive part of it. And we have a very beautiful lake, and we have the most nice fish. And it's, in Africa, it's only Lake Malawi which has that kind of species. It's called chambo, and people love it. And we have the most beautiful mountains. So I think, I love my country. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
And Memory will understand that this year, earlier, there's been a new law enacted by your government, which has raised the age for marriage from 15 to 18. And I understand that you have a big role to play in the process. Can you explain the background of the process?
This whole process, it all began as just a mere talk. And I'll start with the way how we mobilize this in my own community where I come from. We started as a very small voice of a group of girls.
Okay.
And later on, with a group of girls, we formed a club. And we decided to talk to our traditional leader about what we wanted as young girls in my community. We didn't want that age of 15 to be the legal marriage age, and not girls to be married off as early as 13, because in the law it stated that any child below the age of 15 can marry with a parental consent. So that also brought in a conflict. So there was no clear of the real age of what is the real age. And then later on, we tried all that, and we convinced our traditional leaders to carry on with us with all this work, because in Malawi, if traditional leaders do not participate in such bigger laws, because they are more of law custodians, so we must change them first. So we took that law and tried to convince our traditional leaders first before we go at national level. And then later on, we moved to at national level, where I personally had a one-to-one conversation with the members of parliament and the Minister of Gender, Patricia Cariati. She is a very strong woman, and we were able to talk to her and convince her that the time they were setting up this age 15, I don't think they consulted the girls themselves. So we thought it was so that they consult the girls themselves and hear out their view. And through that, they consulted a lot of other girls, and later on, the girls said at least 18 is at least a reasonable age. And then this we went on, and I remember the time that the bill was being presented at the parliament. We were there every day and telling the parliamentarians, support the bill, and they supported us. We took our little phones and texted them, support the bill. So it was a very good advocacy talking to them. So we convinced them, and they built in a political way to support us. So
all right. And Memory, I understand that you felt education was a very effective way to try to stop, child marriages in your country. Why? And what were some of the things that you were able to improve the education for women in your home country?
Education is very important. For me, education unlocks all those closed-up opportunities. So when you are educated, at least you have wider opportunities, and you're able to think on your own, you're able to make decisions, and you're able to participate with the things that are going on around you. When I saw the need of education, that is why I decided to take a further step, because when you know that if you marry early, automatically it's obvious that you're out of school. And Malawi ranges it has the highest dropout rate, and most women do not participate in the community development, which is a very bad thing, because for the economy of the country to rise up, to improve, it needs a collaboration of both women and men. So when you look at that, when I see that larger difference that is there that between men and women, that is when that's when you see the need of that kind of collaboration that need to be there, that need to exist. Because if 50% of women do not go to school, that means what if you educate that 50% to contribute? So when a person thinks in that range, that is when a country needs to invest in the education of women and, the education of girls, and carry on with the work.
Good. All right, let's turn the attention to Joanna.
Yes.
Joanna, you mentioned earlier that after senior high school, you went on as a volunteer to the Kingdom of Swaziland.
Yes.
All right, can you share with us that experience and how that experience changed you?
Okay, so I'm very lucky to go to the Kingdom of Swaziland to be volunteer after graduate from high school.
Okay.
I went there for 3 times for continually 3 years.
Okay.
And the country is very different from Taiwan. As for me, I was 18 years old at that time, and I want to share a very little story when I was in Swaziland. Because I was 18 years old at that time, and I met a girl who was 18 years old as well, a Swazi girl. So because she was 18 years old and I was 18 years old, so we
became friends?
Yeah, we became friends. And then we share our lives and we chat with each other. Then, to my surprise, she asked me one question, and I'm really surprised by her questions. She asked me, how many children you have?
Okay.
And I'm really, really surprised by this question, because for me, for young people, for people at the age of 18 years old, you will ask your friends, where do you want to go in the future, which college you will going to enter, and what's your dream in the future. And you won't ask a person in 18 years old and say, how many children you have? So I'm really surprised by that questions, because at that time, I fly to Swaziland before I get my college entry, before I get my college admission. So when I was in Swaziland, actually at that time I was thinking about which college I will be, if I got good grades of the college entry exam. But at the same time, a girl at the same age as me, she is thinking about how to take care of children, how many children I have. At first time, I was thinking like, this question is quite weird. But later on, I realized that the expected life of Swazi people is 35 years old. Okay. So for them, 18 years old means like you are
halfway.
You are halfway. So
maybe that's why they got married early.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why she asked me that
question. So do you think that
questions.
experience has changed you as a person to become more concerned about women's rights and human rights in general?
Sure. Because of the experience, I started to understand more things and to take care of more things around the world. Okay. To take care of more things about human rights around the world. So that's why I went there to volunteer for 3 times, because I want to know more to get know better about the countries. Good. And so that's why I made an NGO called Heart for Africa there. So. We have a very close cooperation we have a very close relationship and cooperate with Heart for Africa there with the following years.
All right. And if I may start off this part of the program with Memory. Memory, talk to us a little bit about your experiences, participating in this NGO called the Girl Empowerment Network, Jeanette. And then what has the activities and the conferences that you've been attending has really helped you in terms of paying more attention and becoming more aware of issues related to human rights and in particular women's rights?
Girls empowerment is a very small organization in my country.
Okay.
And it operates at local level, at grassroots level.
Yeah.
And it mainly deals with girls' human rights and sexually reproductive health and leadership skills. I would say it's very much broad, and the issue of menstruation, because it's a lot of things.
Okay.
So it just looks at a girl child, and it looks at how can that girl child be empowered and unlock all the doors and opportunities for them to continue their education, and removing all the barriers that hinders girls to continue with their education.
Okay.
So I have been involved with it from 2011, and I have been I've been working with them, studying from my community, and I've been going around Malawi and educating my young fellow girls about so many things that they have to work hard, they have to at least know their rights and be able to speak out with whatever challenges that they are facing every day.
Okay.
So, and apart from that, through this organization, I've been able to go to many other different countries and attend different conferences with so many great people. And throughout those new experiences with those people, it has changed me, and it has made me be aware of so many other things that are happening around the world. Okay. And I would say most of the people that I have met, they have also been a motivation factor to me. Okay. And through the conversation that we have had personally with them, you'd think that those great people don't meet challenges and they just go through life like a straight line. But then when they tell you their personal stories, how they developed with all that, they made a lot of challenges, but they still forged ahead. So when I hear such kind of stories from them personally, they motivate me and move on. Yes. And when I was in the US, I remember that I had to meet a bunch of young girls, and they were about 10, 9, and when they were so much concerned about Africa, about developing countries, I was so much shocked, like these guys are leaving their comfort zone and they are thinking about a girl just like them in a different country. It also opened my eyes. That's when I started thinking about how things are not just about me, things are also about them now, and them as well. They also think about us. That was when it changed my mind that we are really living in the global world where every issue is important. Yeah.
Of course. And Joanna, I understand this year you have 5 winners, but only 4 of them, as you mentioned, came to Taiwan.
Yes.
And after the presentation of the award, they traveled around Taiwan for 6 days.
Yes.
Can you tell us where they went and what was their impression of Taiwan?
Okay. After the ceremony award, we bring those winners to traveling around Taiwan. First of all, we visit several important persons nowadays in Taiwan, such as the Chairman Tsai of the DPP parties, because we believe, because for those winners, for those recipients, they take actions in social activity, and we think that politics is the quickest way to participate in social activity. So that's why we take them to see many important persons in Taiwan, not only Chairman Tsai of the DPP party, but also former Vice President Lu Xiulian. She's the first feminist in Taiwan, so we have very good talk with those VIPs in Taiwan. We have very good talks with them. And also we took them to several schools for speech. For Taiwanese high school students to face with those winners, recipients, and they can communicate with people who has done something at their age. Yes. Okay. And for those winners, their first impression about Taiwan, they say that there are many lights because they just arrived in Taiwan in Taipei, and Taipei is our capital city. So for Kaladi Mengulu, one of our winners from Tanzania, because he grows up in a very little country, little village in Tanzania. So the first impression of Taiwan, he says like, oh, there are so many lights compared with his country, because in Tanzania, in his village, when it is night, it is only dark. Yeah.
Okay. And you said earlier in the program that, Joanna, there's simultaneously another conference taking place in Taiwan,
yes,
which is the International Youth Leadership Conference. What were some of the issues covered in this year's conference?
Okay, so it has been 10 years since the International Leadership Conference was held. And this year, besides those 5 recipients, we also have 12 students from Canada, America, and Japan. They are here to share their ideas, what they have done, such as volunteer in other countries. They want to share those ideas with students in Changhua Senior High School, as well as students in other high school. Right. And because these events, this conference is held by Library of Changhua Senior High School. But actually, in our concept, library in Taiwan is a place for reading, not it is a place to read. Yes. So for library who hosts so many activities, quite strange in Taiwan. It's quite different in Taiwan. But because for Library of Changhua Senior High School, for the director of library, Louis Lu, he thinks like reading is useless unless it is for action. Okay. So that's why the conference. So that's why he held a conference. That's why he organized a conference. He wants to encourage students not only in Taiwan but around the world to take action. So this is a topic of this year's conference, not just reading, but to take action, to do something, just as those recipients just do.
Okay. And Memory, you've been in Taiwan how many days now?
I'm almost winding the 2nd week.
Oh,
so,
okay,
yeah.
Good. And have you had the experience or the opportunity of exchanging your views about women's rights, about human rights, with people roughly your age in Taiwan? And what was your impression of that exchange?
We have been at Chongo High, so I spoke at a motivational speech to them. Okay. And I also went to Taiwan High School yesterday. It was so amazing to see a group of young people in front, and after the speech, all of them just fraud and asked me so many questions. Yes. And through explaining to them, and at the same time, it wasn't just them asking me questions. I also had to ask them about what is going on in their country and all that, exactly, and sharing ideas about how best we can improve our communities. And it has been a good experience, I should say. So yeah. And the impression about Taiwan, this is a beautiful country. Yes. It's very beautiful, and every person that I have met is so warm. Okay. Everyone is just looking at me and smiling and curious, just wanting to learn more about Malawi. So Taiwan is a very wonderful country. Okay. Yes.
And let me ask you, before we end this part of the program, what will be some of the issues you think that maybe the youth of Taiwan can pay more attention to? You know, for example, are we doing enough about gender equality? Are we doing enough about youth, their mobility to move upwards? What is your impression?
My own impression, I'll start with the gender equality part. I know that a lot, when I compare my country and Taiwan, I see that at least here you guys, gender equality, it's not very fully balanced, but at least the difference, I can be able to note that huge difference. So so you guys, you just have to go on with respecting the rights of girls and balancing it up. So I know you guys, you're moving to a fully balanced, and you are not yet there, but you can be there. Okay. So yeah, and yeah.
That's very nice. All right. I want to ask Joanna first, among the activities that you have planned for the recipients, one thing that you did was to have them, have a walk at the Shimen Reservoir, dam area. And what was the purpose behind the program, behind the activity?
Okay.
Please.
So starting from 2011, the use of leadership conference,
Yes.
We decide to plan to design another plan, that is Walk for Water. This activity is stemmed from the volunteer to Swaziland, the volunteer team to Swaziland from Changhua Senior High School.
Okay.
This volunteer team is the first high school team in Taiwan to serve to volunteer in Swaziland.
Okay.
And with the aid of Heart for Africa, we know water is a crucial key to solve the problem of poverty and disease in Africa. So that's why we decide to raise funds through Walk for Water. So we called the fundraising activity Walk for Water.
All right.
And started from 2011 and until now, we have raised funds enough to build a dam in Swaziland. We have built a dam in Swaziland.
Good.
Yes, and for this year, we keep on to raising funds through Walk for Water. And this year, because we have 5 special guests around the world to come to Taiwan, so we invite them to Walk for Water with us. I think this is quite interesting because you can see teenagers and students in the same age from different countries. They work for the same goal, and that goal is not for themselves, but to help others in more poor countries. So I think that is very good.
All right. And Memory, you were part of the activity. Tell me, what was going through your mind when you participated in the Walk for Water activity?
I think it's really great.
Okay.
And it's not just walking for water for just for Swaziland, but I know with my personal experience, knowing I come from Africa, and most of African countries are really dry, and in my country too, girls just like me, they have to walk a very long distance for them to fetch a bucket of water, and along the way they meet a lot of challenges. They get raped and insulted, all that. And building the reservoir in Swaziland is a great thing for the kids, and I know that Swaziland right now is going through drought, and this is a very good thing. Water is very essential.
Okay.
It's very essential for both plants, animals, and even us human beings. So it's a great
certainly
thing.
hope the activity, the event can continue. Maybe in the future that there will be enough funds to maybe build a reservoir in your home country as well.
Probably, that would be great.
All right.
Yeah.
And Joanna, you mentioned that you have worked with a team of seniors or students from the Changhua Senior High School. And when you were volunteering for at the Kingdom of Swaziland, can you tell us that if that experience, of volunteering for the NGO and also working with students from Changhua, Senior High School, really have helped you in your current responsibility at the Dayuan International High School, and also with the responsibility that you have, as a judge on the Global Youth of the Year Award?
Okay, sure. As a teacher in Dayuan International High School, because our school is the first public international high school in Taiwan.
Okay.
So from the name, that we try to be internationalized school.
Okay.
Yes, and I think in Taiwan, as we talk about international, it is a little bit limited.
Okay.
We will just invite foreign students to a school, or we will just have exchange programs to other countries.
Okay.
But for me, I think international means that different students from different countries, they work for the same goal, and that goal is for another country, to help another country. Yes, and we try to put much effort for what we can to help others.
Okay.
And my experience with Changhua Senior High School students to be volunteer in Swaziland, this do help me a lot when I am a teacher in Dayuan Senior High School, because I will tell them what I have just done, and what I have just done with several high school students just as the same age as you. So I expect them to do more, to practice more, and to have more ambitions for the future. Just like I have met a group of students, they can visit Kingdom of Swaziland, they can be volunteer there, they can do something for the world. And so as you can do something for the world, not just to task, not just have tasks and just study and study and study.
Okay.
Yes.
And after you said that to your students, what was their general reaction? Do they say that, hey, Teacher Lu, I want to volunteer, I want to go, next summer and things, or some of them may say, well, I don't mind, I don't want to go.
Okay, actually, because students in Dayuan Senior High School, they are quite disciplined and they are very good students. They are students who study hard. But I think they are somehow a little bit limited of imagination for the future.
All right.
Yes, the vision is not broadened enough. So when I talk about the volunteers' experiences in Switzerland, first of all, they will be very shocked, because they never imagined that there's a country in Switzerland and a life in Switzerland. And secondly, they will ask me to talk more about the country and my experience layers, and also my experience to translate two books of Jenny Maxwell, the founder of Harvard Africa. Yes, and because of those experience, because of book, I will bring a book for them to read, to know more about Switzerland. They were very curious about the country, and they will start to think about what I can do to help people's layer, or what I can do to help people in my countries, to help the vulnerable people in my countries.
All right, so you think there is progress being made. All right.
Yes.
Memory, you've been in Taiwan for about a week, a little longer, and do you think, because of the differences that we have between Malawi and Taiwan, do you think that we can improve our mutual understanding by exchanges through young people like yourself, visiting Taiwan, and we have some young people visiting Malawi? Do you think that's a very effective way to improve mutual understanding between our two countries?
I think it is.
Okay.
For me, I would say that this kind of exchange is very great.
Okay.
I am here, and I knew very little about Taiwan. I just knew that Taiwan is a country, and I did not know much about what is going on. I had no idea. But I am here now, and it has just opened up my mind wide, and I have learned a lot about what is going on in the country, and they have also learned a lot about what is going on in my country.
Okay.
When I shared them my personal story, they were all shocked, because they never thought such a thing is happening somewhere in the middle of the world.
Okay.
So this is an open of the eye to most of the my age mate in Taiwan, as well as it has also opened up my eyes. So this kind of exchange visit is really great.
Okay.
So
and besides all the attention that you have paid to on women's rights, human rights, what will be some other areas you think the young people in Malawi will be interested in exchanging with Taiwan? For example, education, sports, cultural activities. Will some of these be also options, maybe for young people on both sides, to build friendship in the future? What do you think?
Yes, it's so great. Apart from knowing what is going on in the country, the culture, the differences and all that, I think partnering in terms of fun activities such as sports, I think that will be great.
Okay.
Taiwanese students coming to Malawi and having that mutual understanding through sports, apart from, at the same time, you're not just having sports.
No.
You're also learning about so many other things that are happening in the country. So, yes.
Okay. And finally, before we end the program today, Joanna, I want to ask you a question that if there are young people who are watching our program today, saying that, hey, I'm very impressed with all these volunteer activities, about opportunities to help young people in other countries, if they want to, participate in international volunteer activities in the future, as somebody who's done it before, what would be your recommendation to them? How can they better prepare for themselves? What would be some of needed qualities that they should have before they volunteer for their activities?
I think the most important thing is that volunteers are layered to be changed, not layered to change.
Okay.
Yes, because we can solve a local problem. We can solve a local problem, but we can through experience. We can see experiencing we can see because of volunteer traveling there to understand this place better. And I think the most important thing for volunteers who has been witnessed the people who are suffering. I think the most important thing is that go back to our country, go back to our local countries, and make your full efforts to bring in the resources there. Just like we have raised funds through Work for Water. Yes, we can do it in this way. And so this is my recommendation for those people who want to be a volunteer for another countries.
All right. I want to thank the both of you, Joanna and Memory, to be special guests on our program today. Certainly wish both of you all the best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching our program today. I'll see you next time on Macroview Television. Thank you.